countries and the UK work together to leverage your high level of innovation or R&D that your universities or your R&D institutions are producing. And that's where India can play an important role to partner with the UK in the emerging technologies of the future. And I'm very sure that given that India has the lowest cost data, our data costs, I believe, somewhere around 12 or 17 cents per GB, as against the US cost of about $7 per GB. I don't know the UK cost, but won't be very much different. Even the world average is about $3 per GB of data. And I think India, with its low cost, brings down the world average significantly, being the largest consumer of that data also. Given the high quality of talent that India produces every year, we have the highest number of STEM graduates coming out of college in India. High Commissioner will be happy to know 43% of them are women. And that pool of technical skill, coupled with the demands of an emerging market across the world, do provide an excellent opportunity for us to partner with each other. We are coming up with more and more legal frameworks which will protect data privacy, which will encourage free flow of data amongst trusted partners. And very obviously, the UK and India are two trading countries, technology countries, which in the years to come can really expand our Digital India mission and your imperatives to work with newer technologies. Together, we can do wonders. Incidentally, we launched Digital India way back in 2015. And today, we must be amongst the fastest growing telecom market. Our penetration with 4G is complete through the length and breadth of the country. 5G is seen the fastest rollout anywhere in the world. I think by end of next calendar year, all of India should be on 5G. And we have already started developing the 6G stack domestically. So we are well on path to providing the necessary ecosystem and infrastructure which will help us to engage with the developed world on technology, which in the years to come, I believe, seems to suggest that data will become the new oil and energy would be finding the maximum usage in the churning or in the utilization of this data in the years to come. Of course, coupled with that, there's a significant interest in sustainability. And more people are looking at countries which can offer them, let's say, green infrastructure to house their data centers, or other initiatives where digital world and sustainability intersect and work hand in hand. Again, India offers the best infrastructure, I dare say, anywhere in the world for this mission of sustainable infrastructure for the digital world. I say that because I don't see many parts of the world which have an interconnected national grid the way India does. I remember in 2014, when Prime Minister Modi took office, we also had regional grids in the country. So power was available in North India at about 3 cents, and at the same time, power was available in South India at about 20 cents. That was the level of disparity. And because the grids were small and regional in nature, we had two serious concerns. One, the concern of grid stability or overload, which caused outages. And I remember when I became power minister in 2014, I was welcomed with a massive breakdown in the entire northern India grid. And one of our columnists in the newspaper wrote an op-ed saying that I've been baptized by outage. Mr. Modi invested significant amounts of public money and capital in creating an interconnected grid across the country, which I don't think even Europe has as of now. I don't think the United States has as of now, and I don't think the ASEAN bloc also enjoys. So if you look at the democratic world or the trusted geographies where you can look at engaging with your data without fear of it being stolen or misused, India is the only geography with the rule of law providing you cover, where we have a large interconnected grid across the country, where we have data flowing through the telecom networks across the country seamlessly, and our grid is massive. The grid size today is almost 500 gigawatt, 200 gigawatt of clean energy, renewable power out of the 500. And our ambition and our plan by 2030 to grow our clean energy to 500 gigawatt lends me to believe that by 2030 we would have almost 1,000 gigawatt interconnected grid through the length and breadth of the country. For data centers, this huge amount of clean energy and the strength of a grid which handles 1,000 gigawatts, which you can tap into, provides an unheard of reliability and sustainability. And therefore, I think it's very appropriate that you are looking at the technology futures, the future of technology, what's going to happen in the years to come. And anybody who misses the bus or loses out on the opportunity to work with India, and I'm not saying this with any arrogance, Richard, I'm just stating a matter of fact. If you miss out on the India-UK partnership on technology, you do so at your own risk and cost. Friends, we've been working in India to develop not only a technology backbone, not only the infrastructure to encourage absorption of greater amounts of technology, but we are focusing on the space sector, something which brings both of us closer together on technology. We are working on animation, visual effects, gaming, comics and extended reality, which is another very high-tech area of the future. And given that more and more people are looking at entertainment as a very important element of quality of life, and many of these techniques actually fit into the world of artificial intelligence or augmented reality and all of that, becoming very intrinsic to the way technology is being exploited in the future. I think India offers a great opportunity also in this field of AVGC and extended reality. Similarly, we are looking at semiconductor mission in a very big way. We have committed huge amounts of public funding and capital to encourage the semicon industry coming into India. And I do believe, as the Honorable Prime Minister said, and I quote, our dream is that every device in the world will have an Indian-made chip going forward. If I may summarize the areas of collaboration where UK and India can co-design or co-deploy technologies or solutions towards resilient supply chains, particularly in the critical technology areas, I have 5 suggestions to offer. 1, in artificial intelligence learning, we can create platforms to encourage more and more of next gen to engage with artificial intelligence. We can look at personalized training. We can look at universities adopting artificial intelligence as course curriculum. We can look at virtual reality becoming a part of the development of new age skills amongst our young men and women. Second, telemedicine can play an important role in bringing down costs of healthcare in the United Kingdom also, and can help us reach quality healthcare to the remotest parts of India. And as I mentioned to High Commissioner in our earlier engagements, any idea which is lopsided or which doesn't do a fair and equal benefit to both partners will never survive long. And therefore, we have a vested interest in telemedicine for reaching high quality medicine facilities and at a lower cost, providing the infrastructure in remote parts of India. But similarly, we can help bring down your budgets. And I think, if you don't mind my saying so, you do have some stresses on your budget right now, as does every country in the world. Who doesn't? Therefore, e-health platforms and some of our startups are coming up with very good innovative ideas on what can be done for making healthcare more affordable and reaching the last man at the bottom of the pyramid. I'm told some of your medical needs have very long queue-ups and waiting times, particularly things like, I don't know, clinical care and stuff like that, or old age care. Of course, a dentist job cannot be moved to a telemedicine platform. Number 3, we could look at climate modeling tools. Disasters are striking across the world given the fragile ecology that we are all living in. AI tools can help us in predicting climate patterns better, help us in preparing for disasters better, and optimize the mitigation strategies that all of us are very concerned about. We in India are taking disaster resilience and management of disasters very, very seriously. And there was a time when we would lose hundreds and thousands of lives with every cyclone or every earthquake that came in. We are able to now create an ecosystem where we plan in advance. We have created very good SOPs to manage disasters, and we stand on a very much safer ground where even the worst of cyclones doesn't leave behind a long trail of death or disaster or destruction. Number 4, being a very largely agrarian economy and agriculture being the bulwark of livelihood for a large section of Indian population. Precision farming tools or residue-free farming in controlled environment and similar such new technologies which can help agricultural productivity grow or go up without the use of GM. We don't encourage, rather we don't allow genetically modified technologies in India for the safety in the long run. But we can employ IoT devices, we can look at drones and sensor-driven equipment, we can look at monitoring of crops, we can look at soil testing, many areas in the agrarian world where technology can play a role in the future. And lastly, a number of organic chemicals, a number of engineering goods, a number of products related to food are going through a churn with newer technologies playing a role. And that could be another area where we could work together. Auto components for the electric vehicle ecosystem, for example, is one area that comes to mind immediately. So lots of work, but working together, we can get outstanding outcomes. As they say, you can work very hard and achieve some goals, but working together, you can achieve many, many more goals. That's what I would invite all our participants and the technology world of the UK and India to do. Let's work together, let's work smarter, and let's work faster. Thank you very much.
Honourable Minister, that was wonderful. I think all of us today have been, I think impressed is probably an understatement, that the discussions and the infrastructure has really identified opportunities and collaborations. The Honourable Minister has kindly agreed to answer a few questions, and I'm pleased to put them. In the context of where we are at the moment, which is an exciting place, and as you said, our two Prime Ministers have agreed to start again to conclusion the Free Trade Agreement. I was wondering if we can turn to the Viksit Bharat, you know, the developed India vision for 2047. And I just wondered if you could explain and talk to people about what the top sectoral or thematic priorities are for the government of India, and also for yourself, your own ministry as well.
Well, I think we recognize that going forward, we cannot wish away the evolving technologies and the new technologies that are obviously going to come and change the way we work, the way we live. Our effort is that with every churn, every change, how can we adopt our systems to be able to convert each of these into an opportunity? Change will be a constant. Similarly, technology is inevitable. So there is a school of thought that artificial intelligence or this huge amount of new age technologies can cause disruption in employment. What Prime Minister Modi is trying to do is that let's reskill our people to be able to take this up as both a challenge and convert that challenge into an opportunity. And I do believe there's tremendous potential for our young men and women of substance. They really have a lot of drive in them, a lot of ability, since our children from a very young age, actually preschool age, start doing maths. And it's something many of us parents are concerned about. But for whatever reason, we've landed up in such a competitive environment that a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old is today doing maths in India. And all of this, but ultimately is providing us with a huge amount of talent. So our effort is, how can we leverage all of these technologies, rejig the employment opportunities that India provides, and balance that with opportunities in traditional sectors. For example, infrastructure. Infrastructure is a focus area. It is going to be required. We are right now committed to investing $130 billion in the current year through government spending and government-related spending in infrastructure. And this number keeps going up every year. The private sector is also investing significantly in infrastructure. But that infrastructure is the backbone on which we are going to be able to do many other things. So if we are not invested in the digital infrastructure all across the country, a lot of the global capability centers we see in India today wouldn't have been here. And millions of possible jobs would have been lost. Similarly, we are looking at low-cost, affordable telecom services so that we become an attractive destination for all of this new churn that's happening around the world. And coupled with our more affordable labor and technical costs or manpower costs, when you couple the low cost of real estate relative to what many parts of the world have, whether it's Japan or US or even UK for that matter, I think India can truly help the world's companies become competitive. It's for no small reason that 1,600 global capability centers are already there in India. So our effort is to bring the best of technologies into the country through greater partnerships with the rest of the world. Very often it doesn't make sense to reinvent the wheel also. We're happy to do technology partnerships. And the good part is India doesn't steal anybody's technologies, as do some other countries without taking any name. We respect IP, we respect the technology that other countries have developed or companies have developed. Incidentally, we are also focusing on our own innovation and R&D ecosystem. So we've already announced in the budget, we'll soon come out with the guidelines. $12 billion have been committed by the government to invest in R&D in public-private partnerships. So our universities or academia, private sector, industry and government, all of us together will be funding this investment. Now you may jolly well say, what the hell is $12 billion? That's probably the spend a Fortune 500 company individually may be doing in R&D. But $12 billion being spent by the government, supplemented by the manpower and the capabilities of our high quality educational institutions, our IITs, our regional institutes of technology, many others, and some investment by industry. All of that put together would be valued at, let's say, X, whatever that X number is. But when you do that in India, as against doing that in Europe or in America, you'll probably be doing that at a fraction of the cost you would spend in Switzerland or in Iceland or in Norway or in London or UK. So effectively, I suspect we could get maybe 7 or 8x or maybe even 10x the outcome for the same dollar or pound that you spend in India compared to what you would spend in another country or the developed world. So by seeding this with a $12 billion government support, I'm actually going to be promoting nearly 150 or 200 billion dollars of R&D in the country, opening up a whole new vertical. So we are identifying specific verticals like this. Our infrastructure investments will help us grow tourism in a big way, something which is a source of income for many countries. Our new national education policy, 2020, has transformed our education systems to align them with the liberal education systems today at Harvard or Yale or Princeton or Oxford or Cambridge, giving children flexibility to pursue a vocation of their choice. So an Anand Mahindra could be a photographer major at Harvard and come back and run one of the most successful enterprises in the country. We are moving in that direction in our education system, thankfully getting rid of the past, which we have over the years lost out on many opportunities. So, I mean, there's a lot happening in the country, and therefore I think it'll be great to work with the UK, and great to expand the collaboration between UK and India so that we can both benefit our economies together.
Thank you very much. I want to pick up a little bit on the theme that you just laid out there. I mean, we have in the room a number of companies, UK, large, small. I'm sure that with the discussions that we've had today, they're all enthusiastic and want to get involved. So my question is, how should or could the private sector, consider engaging in India to drive the technology collaborations that you've so, well articulated?
Well, I think both options are open. If you want to do it on your own, we welcome you. Almost in every sector, save and except a few handful, where you may need government permission or where we may not be allowing 100% ownership. Right. By and large, in most sectors, and particularly in most technology sectors, we are allowing 100% ownership. Your IP is your own, your technology is protected, your ownership is your own. You can come and set up business anywhere in India. If you wish to have an Indian partner, I would urge you to do a good due diligence. Because more often than not, if businesses have failed in India or partnerships have failed, it's mostly because of bad promoter due diligence. It's not as if the opportunity is not there in India, or it's not as if the business failed. It's more often than not the promoter, the Indian partner failed, if you don't do your due diligence well. So, I mean, I can't obviously as a minister say one is good and another is not good. But then by and large, it's not very difficult to figure out and find out with a little bit of care and caution which are the promoters of substance who have a reputation, who are kosher, who are doing good, clean business. And if you select your partner well, I think India is the land of opportunity. I mean, imagine, as I often tell the negotiators from UK when we are trying to draw a balance between the agreement on both sides, that we are offering you an opportunity where an economy, the Indian economy, is going to grow from $3.5 trillion today, the fifth largest, to a $35 trillion economy in the next 25 or 27 years. Now the delta of opportunity that we are offering is huge. And I invite businesses from UK to come and participate in that. Just to tell you, I'll give you an example of one company. Because I think selling the India story, I can give you a 1,000-slide presentation. But I'd rather just give you a one-slide presentation on the India opportunity. A company came and invested 25 years ago, $200 million in India. $200 million 25 years ago. I couldn't do the research on the whole 25-year period. I focused on the last 10 years. I know they don't have any losses, so it's not as if I'm hiding anything that happened in the first 15 years. They certainly made profits, certainly remitted dividends, certainly remitted royalties, and certainly bought from their suppliers all over the world or their subsidiaries all over the world, even during the first 15 years. But only in the last 10 years, if I look at their reports, after investing $200 million 25 years ago, in the last 10 years, they have remitted back $12 or $13 billion in terms of royalties and dividends. They've bought billions and billions of dollars of goods from their subsidiaries around the world or in India, or from their suppliers around the world, which has added to the competitiveness of those companies and the profitability of those companies. And today they are sitting on a ownership of a company valued, their shareholding valued at $15 billion. I don't know how the maths works out, but 200 million invested 25 years ago has resulted in such huge returns. But of course, we've got employment in the country. We've got hundreds and thousands, if not over 100,000 people in that ecosystem who've got employment. We've got consumer demand being met with that. We are earning through foreign exchange, through the exports that the company does. So it becomes a win-win for both countries. Therefore, I invite all of you, India is the land of opportunity. With our own large market, the demand that 1.4 billion Indians generate, and it's a very aspirational India today. The demand that they generate makes you really a competitive player in whichever is your chosen field. And with that competitive edge, the world is your market.
I have to say, Honourable Minister, your advice and recommendation about doing due diligence in your partner is absolutely spot on. Something that I think is sometimes sadly missed, but is absolutely imperative. But I'd like to, if I may, finish with a question. I've been coming to India now since, 1999 was when I first got off the plane from America, actually. There has been significant changes and reforms have been put in place, and the acceleration that has occurred since 2014, with competitive federalism, with ease of doing business, with GST, with everything that has come through. I mean, India has really been through a revolution virtually, and it's driven investment and FDI levels. I mean, what other reforms do you feel you would like to see or like to achieve, or are being considered?
Richard, we are open to suggestions. It's a continuous process. I don't think this will end ever. And it's not only for India. Every country is in a continuous state of relooking at processes and procedures and systems, and is in a state of constant change. We in India are not at all resting on whatever has been done so far. For example, we took out a bill called the Jan Vishwas Bill. It translates to the People's Trust Bill. In that one bill, we amended about 42 or 43 laws and about 183 sections of the law collectively in these 42, 43 laws, spanning 18 departments of the government of India. In one bill, we changed all of these to decriminalize and remove any fear of going to jail for minor offenses or offenses which we thought could jolly well be converted to a fine or a penalty. Now, that was Jan Vishwas Bill, very widely received, happily received by businesses and the people of India. Many of those helped in our ease of living initiative. But now we've already started working on Jan Vishwas Bill 2. But I can only do a good job if I get feedback from all of you. If you tell me what are the areas where there is a problem. So reform is a continuous process. We are open to ideas. This is a listening government. We would like business and industry, and this morning in an engagement at FICCI, one of our prominent chambers of commerce, I was sitting down with some 20 odd past presidents in a closed door. That was my request to them. And I'm public about it on many forums, that industry will have to tell us what they want so that we can calibrate those requirements. We can study what is doable, what is not doable. What I can't do, I will share with you why I cannot do it. I will probably learn a thing or two from your experiences. And together, we can make it much easier to do business. Together, we can see how we can make life or business easier for you. Together, we can see how it can be a win-win for all the stakeholders. I have, of course, to protect the demands of Indian Treasury or the demands of fair competition that Indian industry needs. I have to also recognize the different levels of economic development between UK, US, Europe, Japan, Korea, and India. I have to recognize that I'm also dealing with non-market economies. So whatever I do, since we are a MFN nation and we give national treatment to all investors in the country, I have to make sure that I address any concerns that arise out of non-market economies. So that delicate balance becomes my job. But I can certainly see before my eyes that in the next 10 years, 20 years, India will continue to move more and more towards open government, towards more transparency, aligning our systems and processes with the developed world as we move towards becoming a developed country. Till we are yet an emerging economy or a developing economy, I'll certainly need to have a little bit more caution in my opening up process.
So thank you very much indeed for those remarks and also for the speech that you give. As ever, it's an inspiring vision of India's transformative journey going forward towards 2047. And I think the emphasis that you put on leveraging technologies is really going to fuel that progress forward. And the 5 objectives that you set out very clearly are things that we will take away and work on. I think the insights of how technologies will play into the development are are thoughts that we will take away and look at very, very closely, because you're at the coalface of this development, and it's something that we should be analysing and seeing how we might be able to play. The reforms that have taken place in this country since 2014 have been absolutely fundamental and changing, and you may recall that UKIBC does an ease of doing business survey every year, and the progress that is being maintained, it's the sort of progress that I would like on a school report as well, but I never achieved it. So thank you, Minister, for your very valuable time and impactful. I know that you are very busy today. You flew in, as you told me, but we're very grateful to hear your thoughts and your words. So I'd like the audience, please, to recognize and thank.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. May I request a moment of your time, sir? May I request Richard to please present the UKIBC's Technology Future Report to the Honourable Minister?
Oh, lovely. I'll be coming back.
For millennia, cities have been places where bright ideas spark. From the earliest riverside trading posts that turned into today's sprawling megacities in the digital global economy,